Look at my hair.
Looks good.
You said you wanted me to shower first.
Well,
I think we're doing it. Is this like season 2, I guess? Season 2 or 3?
season 3.
Yeah, because I did a little stint. You don't want to see yourself, do you?
No, I was just wondering what I look like.
Ready?
No.
We're back. Those that don't know, this beautiful woman.
Am I looking at you or them? Okay.
It's so funny that you've seen a million of these, but you've never done one.
I know, I haven't.
All right, we're taking it from the top. I am so sorry it's taking me so long to get the show back, but we back.
Mm-hmm.
And the first guest, no offense, Chief Downey, you're coming. But I got to work out some kinks, and I figured I'd better have it done with my wife in the event. The guinea pig.
Mm-hmm.
But for those that don't know this beautiful woman, it's my wife. Her name is Camille Desroches. And I'm like nervous.
I'm nervous.
Wow.
Feel my hands.
Are you? Oh, I feel like it's our first date.
I know.
So if you don't know who this beautiful woman is today, I'm going to do my best to make this not only educational and entertaining for you folks, but because we talk all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But let's act as if there are people watching. Don't know who you are. And for those that, once again, her maiden name was Camille Billy. She had 2 first names.
Yep.
And you're from New York,
Mm-hmm.
but you moved here when you were a little baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what year was it?
1988 or 89.
And what part of New York?
Long Island. West Islip, Long Island. Then my parents moved here, and then all their family moved here, and now we're all here for the most part.
And you're the oldest of 2.
Mm-hmm.
You and your sister Janelle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move here. Where do you remember what section you moved to?
W section.
The W's. And then, so your dad was, he's Mr. Handyman. So did he build that house?
Mm-hmm.
And was that, when we were talking the other day, was that like that was your most childhood memory house? It was in the W section?
W section.
You know, I actually didn't know that till the other day.
We've driven by it before. I've showed you it before.
I just automatically thought that the house that I met you at was like your home. So
when I was older.
So now you're in this house in the W section, and you're going through all of your adolescences through there, basically through like elementary school, middle school.
Elementary school only, I think.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
And
definitely high school was in the house, and then I think middle school was there too. And
then when you were there though, your dad built that house. Then you guys did like what we kind of did. You said you moved to like another section, and then
my dad built that house in the W section for his mom, who passed away in that house.
I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so then we were there. I guess it wasn't, I don't remember what year it was. I want to say 1998 maybe. I think this house that they're in now was 2000.
Okay.
So then I think we're in a rental for a year or 2, and then moved to the house that in the R section.
So your grandma, your dad's dad, I thought she had passed away in New York.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have memories of her?
Not really.
Do you know how oldest you were when she had passed away?
Probably, I don't even know if I was in elementary school.
Okay.
So, 5 maybe.
Wow. So then we fast forward. You're in the arts.
Mm-hmm.
You're all grown up.
Mm-hmm.
You graduate high school with very poor grades.
I know, terrible. Terrible grades.
For those that do know her, she's obnoxiously smart scholastically and just everything else too. But scholastically, you get a wonderful achievements, and you go to that really crappy school.
Yeah, terrible school steps in.
So you go. Hey, see, we're live. Hey, you're ruining Mommy's podcast.
You should get the spray bottle.
Stop. You're ruining Mommy's podcast. Stop.
I was trying to get that
canoe. Yeah, someone's stealing the canoe. Hey, enough. So those haters out there that don't think we go live and it's scripted.
I know. It's
live,
real.
son.
It's like the dogs are usually locked up.
And I wore my shirt today. See, I wanted
did.
season 3 to be no
You
shirt,
did. It's too cold.
so now we go to Stetson.
Mhm.
We don't even know each other still,
No,
but you know of my crew. You
some
know,
of them.
because they were smart too in some of their reports, if not one of them. Oh, should we say his name? Yeah, I don't even say his name.
I don't need to say his
I
name.
don't say your name, but you know who you are, Hova Keys. And so you knew of my friends, but I was the polar opposite of them. I wasn't
Mhm.
scholastically achieved, but all of their reports and stuff, these classes that you're taking, they're like benchmarking it
Right.
off of these.
Right.
So we don't know each other. You go to Stetson, you get more educated. What did you get your degree in?
I got my degree in psychology, bachelor in psychology, and a minor in family business. There were some family businesses in my family, but I didn't want to go that route. And then right after college, I was playing the game of, do I take a low paying job with no experience? It's that whole game. And I kind of, at that point, was into health. And then I started working at the gym, which is where I met you.
And you wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You want to tell that quick story, I guess?
Go ahead.
What's your way of doing it? Because I always do it.
What do you mean?
I mean,
I'm at the gym for, I don't know how long it was. I guess at least a year, if not longer. And doing my thing, working, and then someone comes in and he runs on the treadmill, like going to town. And I always saw you, and I always saw you talking to Brian too. And then one day, I don't think you really tried talking to me before then. You say elsewise, but I don't remember.
I couldn't.
And then one day you come in to ask about your mom's account and started talking, and then somehow I don't even know how it happened after that, but I think it was a Friday.
It was a Friday.
It was a Friday. You were going to your grandparents for dinner. You asked what I was doing, and I told you I didn't invite you, and you invited yourself in a funny way. Yeah. And
this is your way.
Well, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Well, what do you think? What do you think?
I'll tell my version next.
Okay, fine. So then you take it from there. Then you finish.
Okay.
Goes
as follows. I moved back home to Palm Compton, and I had taken a big sabbatical off of dating, and I just was trying to really find the woman of my life. Right? Remember I told you that? And then I'm at the gym, and I was on a mission there. I wasn't ever Mr. Muscle Boy. Went for some cardio.
No, but you did work. Well, I guess after, yeah.
Dan would do. I was never.
And Jimmy.
But they were always going muscle wise. Yeah. I ran, did a little bit with them, and then I went to go to soccer. I would run to the gym.
Right, I remember that.
But I remember always, there was no one that was at the gym that wasn't in love with you. It was easy. So it was here, and it was actually, you guys had a beautiful force because it was you, Sunday, and Nina's a sweetheart too. So you had all that.
She was doing PT.
Right. But that's what you thought was oh, they run the gym. And then Jeff, was his name Jeff? So you're there. And once again, there was this demeanor about you that I've told you this before. It was going to require something more than, hey, do you want to go run away? It was going to require, because I could sense in my heart that you weren't into misbehaving and oh, let's go out for the cliche drink. And I wasn't even drinking then either.
Right.
So I was what in the world am I going to do with this woman? And I already knew that you were stupid smart, very.
How did you know?
I knew. You could even tell, but I had already did some little bit of homework on you, and I knew that you weren't going to be easily entertained. It was going to require, which is fine. It was in my wheelhouse, but I was I didn't want to go at you with some kind of mediocre,
right?
Hello. Plus, once again, there was a line out your door all the time anyways. I literally had to wait.
No.
Imagine, for those that are watching this, just as beautiful at a gym.
Younger.
There was the deli waiting in line, taking a number. Yes, it was. And it was funny because those people to this day that still know you, they would do anything for you. You know that.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we're going to get into this probably later naturally, but those people that like, if I were to actually be a schmuck, I'd be dead because there's so many men that like literally were like, man, once it finally happened.
Yep.
But you're at the gym one day and I couldn't take it anymore. And shout out to Brian Lynch for being the worst best friend ever. I said to him, hey man, help me out with like, just say something to her. Cause I didn't even honestly knew if you had ever saw me. Like I knew you saw.
I think I
Yeah,
saw
but I
you
mean, it
up.
was nothing more than just like,
Yeah.
you always were in your dungeon.
It wasn't a dungeon.
And then if you did come out, it was like men were just throwing.
Well, that was prime time, 5:30.
I know.
Mhm.
So you have to understand, I was a little knucklehead though too. I'm like 10 years my junior now, and I'm still a knucklehead. So I'm figuring out how to navigate this. And finally there's this opportune moment. And yeah, I wasn't even misbehaving or drinking at the time. So it was Friday. I do remember it was a Friday. And I had my grandparents, for those that know me and my family, we eat every Friday. So I already knew, I was like, I'm not even asking to hang out tonight. But I did. My pickup line was a lie.
Yeah.
I was so afraid.
Yeah. That's so sad.
So I walk into her office and she's sitting down.
I think I was eating.
Yeah. Made it even worse. I hate talking to people when they're eating. I never do that. So you're like, and I'm like, hey, can you check my mom's account? I don't think it's set up right.
Yeah.
Because my
whole family went there.
Yeah. And you were like, did you know though? You didn't know.
No.
Yeah, at the time.
I got questions like that all the time.
So I flamboozled you.
Yeah.
So you were like looking, and of course that I didn't think past that question what I was going to do next.
Right.
I thought it was going to be like a 30-minute thing you had to do, and where you were like, it's good.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, you sure? You just make sure it's all good. And then I still want to say, you told me you were going to European Village that night.
You asked me, you're like, oh, so what are you doing tonight? It's Friday night.
Yeah, but it wasn't that ticky-tacky. I may have said something like, whatever. I figured out, somehow, some way I was able to identify what you were doing on Friday.
Right.
And you happened to be going out to a place that I did not want to even be going to. No.
And it was a friend's husband's birthday.
So boom. Now I'm like butterfly effect, heart's pounding. I'm like, what in the world am I going to do? So now I guess I invite myself. You're lucky. Welcome. Maybe you're right.
I am right.
Well, maybe I said I'd come by.
Oh, you said something like, oh, well, I don't know.
Well, I loved Ambrose. It was at the European Village at Europa when Europa was still open. Now I hadn't misbehaved and been out in a minute. So I was like, damn it. And I don't like to go out and just like sit there. I'd like to like spring break it. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to go. I keep forgetting to drink this. Very good.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Compliments to the chef.
Coffee maker.
Now we get to European Village.
No, you.
I get to European Village. You're already there, and it's miserable for me. The dynamic is completely like counterproductive for me because the place is stacked. I'm now seeing people I haven't seen in a gazillion years, and I don't see where you are. And this is before you're really like living on your phone. So it wasn't like here. It was more like, I'll see you there. I remember that. So I get there.
Yeah, because I don't even know if you told me you were.
I don't think it was like that. Now everything's like here on my way, almost there, 5 minutes out. It was more like, and I've always been notorious for a phone call. So I probably called you, said I'm at 8, and my grandparents probably chewed their ear off about, they already knew who you were.
Well, your
my grandfather. Yeah. My grandmother didn't used to go. I thought she used to go once in a while.
She likes curves.
Oh yeah. So I'm heart pounding, butterfly effect. Let's do a check. Make sure once again, I haven't done this in so long. Oh, it's still working. Okay. So kaboom, shaboom. I think we're going. And then this one.
What's that one?
Okay. That's the hard copy in case we lose it.
No one's watching it.
I don't care if anyone is or not. So now I get to the European Village, about being you're there. And it was so hard to isolate you. You were like literally, they had just built that back room and you're in the back furthest right corner. No light. Like I couldn't even see you. And your girlfriends, of course, are being like
protective.
Yeah, like you ain't coming in this. And I thefted you.
Yeah, you did.
I wasn't dealing with that.
Yeah, you did.
I just said, you want a glass of wine? You said no.
Well, I already had one.
I remember going like, this is great. This is going in a wonderful direction. So you want a glass of wine? No. So, well, I'm going to have one. So I had a glass of wine. And by the time I was like half into it, I remember saying to you, we're leaving. Like, you're coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't even do this. I need to get to.
And at that point, it was late. I mean, not
Well,
late.
like an hour or so into
Yeah.
it.
And I had already been there longer too.
Yes. So we leave and brought you to, it was late. It was probably like midnight, 11:45.
Yeah.
And I brought you to Denny's.
There's
Where
nowhere
else
else
is
to
a man to go? In
Mhm.
Palm Coast 10 years ago. So I brought you to Denny's. You had a chocolate milk, and
You had coffee.
I was a weirdo.
Yeah. I had chocolate milk.
If I drank coffee now,
I know it'd be bad news at midnight.
So you're drinking your chocolate milk. We must have talked till 3 a.m.
It was late.
4 a.m.
Were they? They were 24 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I fell in love, and I broke for all those people out there that are dating and courting and all that, and they ask me for advice, which a lot of you do, and it means the world to me. I tell you, don't play the game, because remember everyone exercises this to some degree, the calculated neglect, and like, oh, I hung out with you today, so now I disappear for 48 hours, or I don't answer, I broke every rule of conduct with you.
Well, because I think we had planned to go out on like an official date like 4 or 5 days after that to St. Augustine.
We had made a date then.
Right. But then
I broke it.
Yeah. Like the next day.
So like the next morning, by the time I'm dropping you off. Oh, and the way I was raised, we had, how did we both drive separately to Denny's? I think we had to have.
I think so.
So you leave, but boom. So now I call you at some point in the very near distant future, and I say, I can't wait for
like the next day or two.
And I'm going against every rule book that all these little boys read, and that is like neglect, don't answer, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I call you, I say, like, I need to see you. And then what did we do? Dunkin' it like randomly the next day. And I hadn't met her.
I think because you were working at that point 9 to 5, and I was working till 8.
Right. So I didn't want to. I also, the way that I was raised and what I felt was right is I didn't want to go to your house and pick you up without spending time with your family.
With it being that late.
No. Just without going. I've never been to the kind of guy that I would go to what did you drop, baby?
My crystal.
It sounded a lot scarier than it was. I thought it was glass.
Oh, man. Oh, I got it.
You need it?
Well, I was just holding it.
You look beautiful.
Thanks.
I'm glad you changed. She had I said, show them shoulders.
No, I'm sweating anyway.
See? People don't realize it, but you get steamy. You know what I realized? I can't cross this leg.
That's okay. It's what
I know, but I always cross my leg during the show. I like sitting on my leg. I didn't realize that.
It's not healthy for you.
We'll get into that next. Darn it. Anyways, break every rule of conduct. Call you the next day. Bada bing. Mm-hmm. We meet at Dunkin'. And honestly, babe, it's been like we've broken every rule.
I know
that many men and women had written before us. But I think it's funny because from what people tell us, they like what we have, I guess. I don't know. But I think for those that are in the courtship process or haven't found a companion, just look for every reason not to be with somebody. Is that weird when I say that? Does that bother you? I thought about that.
It used to, and then I understood what you meant.
It didn't make sense to you, like, not meaning it didn't make sense, but it just you didn't get the like. It
was received oddly. You know, your choice of words sometimes
they're always weird.
Yeah, not weird, but different, because your brain is at a different level than other people, so you have to kind of tune into what you mean by that.
Yeah, I'm weird.
Not weird.
Well, I thought about that the other day when I was saying it, because, you know, people ask us all the time, like, how did you, and how did this, what happened?
Right.
And we don't have anything more special than anyone else can have. I think it's just love and honesty and transparency. And, but it's weird when people are like bewildered by it. And I say, I really looked for every reason but I do that even with my work dialogue, when I talk to people and I say, listen, let's find every reason why not to use a particular platform or deal with a particular company. Because if they're easily identified, then it's, I think, a call for reason not to engage, you know? But I think we're all so bred at a young age and systematically that it's like, if it's shiny and pretty and smells good.
And you don't look at the other side.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, that wears off, not just the vanity aspect, but like the real life thing, you know? It's weird. I was thinking about this the other day. why we always ask each other if we're taking a poop. Did you notice that the other day when I did that too? Why do we do that?
I don't know.
There's sort of weird idiosyncrasies about us.
I know.
I don't know if other people do that, but the minute your companion's away from the situation and you like need to know what they're doing, like, where are you going? What warrants you departing the situation? You,
Very odd.
you do it to me too.
I know.
Where are you going to poop? What? And if you're like off a normal poop schedule, all of a sudden you're like,
well, I've been doing research on that. That's bad. I know.
Babe,
I
know. We're going to be bouncing around a lot here.
There's a certain amount of times you're supposed to do it in a day, and we are out of the norm.
Yeah, but duh. A, B.
But that means we have an issue with our metabolism, and we need to work on that.
Well, you were my dietitian.
I know. I'm working on it. I know.
Quick little tangent. Ha. So for those that don't know, Camille literally takes care of me hand and foot as far as my diet, everything. I don't know what I eat. I take it. By the way, that oyster pill, it takes something special to get down. Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
How can I do it then?
You have no sense of smell. And we're going to get kicked off for COVID land. No, she doesn't have COVID. She's never had a good sense of smell. So she's been giving me, I take like a buffet of pills. Supplements. And I don't know what I'm taking, but recently we have had an oyster pill added to the
oyster extract.
Holy bananas. Mm-hmm. That thing is rancid.
Bothered me.
But
in one of the bottles of it, it has 11.2 pounds of oysters.
Oh, it's the equivalent of. Mm-hmm. Well, whatever. That's been the hardest one so far out of the smorgasbord of pills I take. But that's what also, let's bleed right into that. Let's get back to chronological for those that people are trying to pay attention to this and we're all over the place. We get together and we're adulting, and you start kind of finding your flavor as like what you cook, what you don't like. We actually meet and you're a vegetarian.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I like lost 10 subscribers. Like he made a face when he said vegetarian.
Yeah, but that also happened because right before you met me, I was in that car accident.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you remember, but when we first met, I was in so much pain, my neck and my back. I don't know if you remember, that was so long ago.
You were always in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was horrible.
I do remember that.
And then we got together and I was seeing a couple different chiropractors and they were just not very good. And then, fast forward, 5 years or so, and then, or less, I guess, and we meet Adam, mm-hmm. and he's really the one that got me thinking, you really need to look at what you're ingesting and putting on you and all of that. Mm-hmm. So that's what really also helped.
Kickstarted it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for those that are listening, no joke, he don't pay me to say this. I love this dude. Flagler Chiropractic with Adam the Noonie has changed. I think he saved my life.
I think he did.
Part of my vernacular, but I was shitting blood and I was taking Excedrin like Tic Tacs, thinking I was just a normal person because that's what they tell us. Have a headache, take something. And
now we're getting kicked off.
We probably already are, or we're being suppressed.
Oh yeah.
Man, this is really hard.
That's okay.
Babe. You're crossed.
Well,
this is new for me. If you don't know, I got a boo-boo. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But Adam's been pivotal to my you blowing up, you fame.
No, it's work.
You viral.
No.
But Adam was huge in that. I remember that we didn't used to eat healthy.
So, we didn't eat horrible, but prior to Adam though, when I was vegetarian, I think what really changed my way of thinking is when you asked me one day, what would you do if you were pregnant? And that's what really got me, because I was like, oh, well, I have to reevaluate it. And that's what really changed my perspective on it, because I wasn't doing it for a health factor. I was doing it for animals.
Right.
And then, but when I did start researching and making my decision from there, it was better quality meats.
Right.
Better quality fish, etc. So that's what really, made me realize that it really is important what you're ingesting and putting in your body. And I will say too, I know everyone's different, but when I was not eating meat, I was heavier because I was eating so much processed food,
Hmm.
fake stuff. I
Right.
was eating these, and again, no offense to anyone who eats this way, but for me, it wasn't the right move. Um, I was eating fake meat, and there's so much stuff in it that you don't even know what it is. It's not natural. And then when I shifted to eating real food, I leaned out.
Hmm. I don't ever remember you as being. They seem to be like see through,
Well, not
anemic.
too. Yeah.
And no hate, no hate on
Yeah.
like a particular diet. I just don't think
It's just for
you
me.
weren't a healthy
No.
vegetarian.
No.
I think those that know what they're doing
Right.
and balance out and make
Right.
sure that they're getting nutrients. I know some vegetarians. We know some that are.
Right.
I want to be like them.
And also too, 10 years ago, we didn't have
The
it was
literature
so
and the
different.
yeah.
So I feel like I don't want to say it's easier now, it's just different now. It's easier to
Right.
obtain information.
But would it be a fair statement to say like it feels like back then too, you just seemed to be more frail. I remember
Yeah.
like you were like very fragile.
I'm still pretty fragile now.
Nah.
I got a lot of bruises.
Yeah, because you're a yoga queen now.
Well,
But no, now you like can bump into a wall and I don't think you're gonna fall down.
right.
Like back then you were
Right.
very like
I mean, I don't remember that, but
yeah. But so that has a lot to do with how we've gotten to this point of this like homeopathic holistic lifestyle, which
Mhm.
you've been huge to my life and my health. And I think about your mindset. And I think for those that are listening that are actually interested in like because I think there's this misconception about like, oh, Camille and oils. And it's like she's not selling oils.
well, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. And it's interesting. And there's no offensive if you were selling oils, but when I'm telling people about how I feel like you can help them, sometimes people are like, no, I have lavender.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
no.
Right.
Like,
it's everything.
yeah. But it's been amazing that you've been completely engulfed by this.
Mhm.
And it's become part of who you are and how you treat people and how you're always able to find an issue, research it, run it through your immediate resources of
Mhm.
friends and your network that you've built. But people love you. People love that little network that you have.
It's
And
fun.
and I mean this, if it wasn't for you, babe, I don't even know. I really think obviously my issue, a lot of it to being God and
Mhm.
healing me, but like without you, I wouldn't know. Like I wouldn't even take the time in taking my deer antlers, my oysters, and whatever you got me on. I guess I should
But
probably.
don't you feel a difference?
I'm not gonna lie and say I do
No?
because I don't know the other way.
That's true.
You've had me healthy for so
Right.
long that I don't really know. It's almost like I was telling these kids now when I'm coaching them,
Mhm.
I'll say like, how many times did you think about blinking today? And I said that at work and other and
Right.
podcasts and stuff, but here's a 12-year-old.
Right.
No one's ever said that to me when I was 12. I'd be like, I never thought about that.
Right.
And what I'm teaching these kids is what they're doing involuntary on the pitch. Some of them
Mhm.
it's beautiful.
Mhm.
Some of the most magical thing to see some of them trapping a ball without thinking about
Right.
it. And I'm not even teaching them that. So with me now, would you say we shadowed now the years that we weren't living healthier?
Together? What, since we've been
Yeah.
together?
We have more time now that we've been
I
living.
think it's pretty, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're still probably we have a lot to still learn.
Mhm.
Probably, and this is another thing about you that I have to report you to the
Oh no.
CDC. Is it the CDC?
Shush.
When you have me
we're
taking
off
something,
air.
I know, bam, the whole house turns off electricity. When I'm taking something like habitually forever, a little while, and then you go, oh, don't take that anymore.
I know.
So, I guess it would be you like what do they call it? FDA.
Yeah.
It passed your initial
I know.
FDA.
Well, it's a constant,
I know.
I'm always learning and I'm always following new trains of thoughts, and it's worth a try to stop taking it and take something else and see how it is.
What was the most recent one that you removed me off of?
You want to get into that?
You got something to do?
It's gonna open up a whole can of worms.
Well, next thing you know, we'll be taking worms.
Fish oil.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be taking it.
Well,
oh my God.
It's
Why
a
are you
whole
so
thing.
apprehensive to get into it?
Because it's a fish oil is such a, see, no one's watching.
Who cares?
Fish oil is such a common supplement that people take. Like it's in those multivitamins packets that you were getting from the
It's a pound.
right. So there's some form of other so more recently than not, there's a lot of super natural people that are coming together and doing research. And the reason why I'm more prone to look at things this way is because they're backing it up with PubMed articles. It's not just like, oh, it sucks and it's a lot of money, so don't take it. Or
For those
like,
that don't know, PubMed
like
articles.
it's a resource you can look online, and there's medical researches that are available. So you can go to PubMed.com and then type in whatever it is that your fish oils or, So of course, just like anything, you can find something to agree or disagree with your statement no matter what. But what I like about it is that these people that lately I'm following their research on is that they have not only things to back it up, but they have a history of taking it, or they have a history of being a vegetarian. They have a history of doing certain things that they recommended, but then their thought process shifted because of research, because of how they felt when they stopped taking it, things like that. So I'm kind of seeing how it works for us. So in saying that, the fish oil, there's many people lately that are saying that it's actually causing more harm than good. And some of that has to do with this term called lipofuscin. To sum that up, that's like these dark spots that you get on your face.
I don't have any of those.
Me either. But that's very sciencey. But basically they're saying, if I remember correctly, I think it was the fish, I'd have to look, but I think it was the fish oils. And I sent you the screenshot of it, saying that it's when you take it, it causes havoc on your cells, and then your cells kind of don't know what to do. So then it comes out like in bad ways, I guess you can say. And one of those ways is like the dark spots. So things like that.
When you say that, and alcohol.
Good
thing I don't drink any alcohol.
Some people too are saying, which we are starting to take, is if you think you're going to go out in the sun and have a drink or something like that, or you're going to go out and eat something that isn't the most nutritious, to counteract it with vitamin E. So that's what you've been taking. But like if I have a glass of wine or two, I'll have 2 vitamin E's before. And
you haven't been doing that with me.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
Oh, you haven't given me vitamin? Okay, don't hold out on me.
No, don't worry. You're getting them.
You get all the good stuff in your bathroom too.
What?
You got the vanilla stuff and all that other good
stuff. It's there
for
you too.
You won't let me remove it from the dungeon.
Well, no, I don't want it removed.
Stingy.
But you can take whatever
So that's one of your most newest enlightenments in the health situation is fish oils?
Well, I never took it before, but
I did.
For you. Have you also noticed that we haven't been eating tuna fish?
I don't notice any. I just do what I'm told. So I haven't really I guess so.
When was the last time you had tuna?
I'd have to talk to the chef.
It's been a while.
So that has a lot to do with it?
Well, that's a little different than fish oil specifically, but I've been listening to this. I think I told you it was like a 2 or 3 hour podcast where this gentleman was talking about like his diet consisted of a lot of tuna fish, and then he was doing this research and stopped, and his health significantly shifted and changed. I don't remember scientifically why or how, but that stuck with me, that it's not there's other forms of proteins that are better.
I guess now that you've said it, I've noticed that we haven't been taking too much tuna. I do feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you also noticed, which you probably haven't, you haven't really, I've stopped putting peanut butter and almond butter in our smoothies.
I haven't noticed.
But you notice like you're not really snacking on it anymore, right?
No.
So that's a whole nother thing too. I know, is that a lot
what does that mean?
So So there's something called polyunsaturated, PUFA, PUFA. What the heck is anyways.
You look stupid beautiful.
Thanks. Anyways, nuts Nut butters are PUFAs. And that
Puffas.
mhm.
And that acronym is
No,
unsaturated.
fatty acid, maybe.
There you go.
We'll see.
You're giving out horrible
We'll see. I know. So it's wrong.
fact.
Anyways, so a lot of people are saying that that's actually rather like vegetarians, for instance, and which I used to do too, is get your protein from nut butters. So also it's not easy to digest. It's also which I just started. I don't think I told you yet, but what's today? Wednesday. On Monday, I started this like 6-week program, like a nutrition program. And it's all about like your metabolism and healing and um like there's 6 vital signs of health in a normal person, and you should be at this. And if you're not at that range, then there's things that you're doing or taking that's not causing your vital signs to thrive.
How do you identify those 6 things?
There's a list of them. But like one of them, for instance, which I haven't gotten into because I don't have the right tools yet, is when you wake up, your pulse rate should be at a certain pulse. And if it's not, and you're waking up and it's too high, then your metabolism isn't working. Like another example is you should always wake up hungry. If you don't wake up hungry, because think about it, you were just fasting for 8 hours. You should wake up. If you didn't eat for 8 hours during the day, you'd be starving. So if you don't wake up after an 8-hour night of sleep and you're not hungry, there's something going on.
Like what, you think? Or is it's too spider webby?
It could be a lot of things, but basically your metabolism, there's something going on with your metabolism. It could be hormone, like there's so many different factors, but that's a big.
You wake up hungry?
I always do. I go to bed hungry, which actually lately too, that's something else that I've been researching is one reason I made the gummy bears too, is that you should eat something 30 minutes before you go to bed. Not like Big Mac, like something healthy that's balanced.
Okay.
And one of those things are the gummy bears I've been making, because it's your carb. It's a carb in the fruit juice, and then it's a protein with the
you talking about the gummies you've been making?
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know what you're talking about.
I've been making really yummy gummy bears, which is perfect because I have a
gummy problem.
I do.
So weird. You like candy that much.
Always. I've always loved gummy bears.
If you guys ever want to set a booby trap for Camille, just leave anything gummy.
I know.
It's unbelievable. I've never really seen anybody eat so much gummy stuff.
I don't eat that many. I haven't bought any in a while.
Yeah, I know. You've made them. It doesn't mean you're not taking them.
But before then, I stopped buying them for a while. I go through phases where I'm like,
you love your gummies.
So
you make these gummies, and these gummies have superpowers in them.
They do.
Because they're making my knee better.
They
got gelatin in there.
Gelatin.
Little gremlins in there.
Gelatin, honey. You could put sugar if you want, but I haven't been. Honey, and then whatever juice you want.
Oh, and that's why you bought those 2 juices. You had like a cranberry and then another one.
Black cherry and pomegranate.
I pounded that one day. Really good. And I got 1 gummy, and you ate the other 17 pounds.
They're really good.
I can't believe you ate them last night.
I couldn't either. I was hungry.
I thought it was spinach, and I took it out for dinner. And then I don't even really like them. I don't like candy.
I mean,
you know me. And I went to go have some to like be
re-energized,
healthy.
I know.
And you're like, they're gone.
I'll make more
but those
today.
Are fantastic. So what do you think? Like, I'm sure it's hard to identify things, but like, what do you think the average American diet is most jacked up about? Excluding all the crazy things that we could get into, EMFs, and then like using your phone in bed, and frequencies, and even fragrances and dyes. Maybe that's it. Fragrances and dyes.
Everything. I can't.
Do you think a lot of people know about fragrances and dyes? You got me all freaked out because when I go to a house and it smells so good, and I love vanillas and cookies and like the smell of.
I know.
And you walk into a house and it just punches you in the face. It's beautiful, but it's really bad for you.
It's very bad for you.
Why?
Because you don't know what it is. The FDA, so that term fragrance, so if you look on label of anything and fragrance is listed as an ingredient, that's just a blanket term of fragrance. You don't know what that is. It could be dog poop for all you know. Like, you don't know what it is, and that's because the FDA has been able to
use this gray area.
Use the gray area and say that it's a, what's the right word? It's a trade secret of that company. So because it's a trade secret of this company, of this fragrance, you can't give it out, so I can't make it. That's secret to you, but you're not identifying what that actually is.
So by the burning of this fragrance or the
putting it on your skin, smelling it, odors, everything. It's
I guess to make this
horrible.
Make more sense too for those that are this complete like foreign to, which it is to me. We had a friend that we'd met him past this, and we'll never say names, etc. But remember our buddy who for years was basically laid up, crippled when he was young, and he had went through every test, every country. His parents were flying him all over the world to figure out why this young adolescent kid was bed stricken with something. It wasn't anything any medical facility was able to identify. Well, come to find out, after years of him dealing with this pain and torment, he ended up identifying, thank God, through some really good homeopathic, holistic person, that it was this toothpaste. And I think that's probably one of the most, if I were to say like what I think that, if you evaluate what it is that you're taking most, like the most frequently, you like whatever is the most chronic, right? Like toothpastes, because I think
shampoo, conditioner, lotion,
things that you're doing every day, 3-4 times a day. And I think it's beyond your diet, because diets change so often. You go on vacation for a week, you don't have your lemon water in the morning, like just whatever it is. Or it's more of that. Toothpaste is probably the biggest thing that I think is probably jacking people up more than whether you're dealing. And
but that's also because it's in your mouth.
Yeah, it's like, but
you also have to think you're washing your hands all the time.
Yeah. What soaps are you using?
Right. What's in those soaps? Is there fragrance in it? Is there stuff and you're putting it on your skin? Yeah, you're washing it off, but your skin is the largest organ. So even though you're not ingesting it, it's going everywhere.
So it's pretty trippy, because I think it's very boring though. So playing devil's advocate, this isn't all about, I don't even know, we're going off. I guess there's really no sitting in a tangent on this show, but like this whole health thing could be really obnoxious, because people that talk about health can sometimes come across, do as I say.
Right.
And they think like it comes off as like you have it figured out.
Right.
I'll be the first to tell the people that are listening, we have no idea what the hell we're doing. We're trying to do the best that we can with the literature and the education that we have, and knowing what's good for your body.
But that is one thing that I feel comfortable doing, is I will never tell someone to do something that I haven't done.
That's a good point.
So I'm not going to say, go take fish oils. I've honestly never taken fish oils, but if that was before knowing that it was bad, I would never tell someone to do it because I haven't taken it. Now I may say, well, some people may suggest X, Y, Z. I haven't done it, but here's the research. You do it for yourself, but I will never suggest something if I haven't done it myself.
Well, that's what I find to be, I've always loved that about you. But for those that are listening that don't know who you are, or even me, we just sound like some jackamos. We are, but we also we're not selling a product. We're not selling a service. Just figure it out what you're doing. If you are, see, one thing that kills me, and I ask a lot of people this, and I already know your answer, but do you sleep? This woman sleeps like a rock. If anything, she sleeps too much.
No,
yeah, right. Lately. Why did you sit up watching the movie all night last night?
You were so bad.
By the way, quick tangent. Taken 2 sucks. I hated that movie.
I want to see the third one now, though.
Well, of course we're gonna watch it, but Taken's good. Yeah. Taken 2, I've never seen a movie that starts so good and ends so bad.
Yeah, but I mean,
the getaway scene when she's driving, all of a sudden she can drive. Dale Earnhardt Jr. driving around.
I know.
Give me a break. Anyways, point is, if you're not sleeping and you're dealing with things like, and it kills me now because I like to try to help people learn from all the pain that I've been through, headaches. I used to be a headache.
I know.
All I was a headache. I had less time without a headache than I had with a headache.
Right.
I didn't live without a headache. It was immediate. It was like I woke up in the morning and I literally could tick time. Remember those days?
I do. It was terrible.
I had like maybe 30 minutes before I was like, my headache's here. And I just took Excedrin like it was nothing.
And you never thought, oh, let me drink some water.
Maybe even if there's one thing that comes out of Tay's show, outside of looking how absolutely gorgeous Camille is, and learning to see who and what she is. I'm gonna tell you something right now. If anybody is taking Excedrin, I specifically call out Excedrin. You can go punch yourself in the face. I hate you, Excedrin people.
Gone.
I don't care. Yeah, go fly a kite, jerks.
I
And they hide it all in that little scroll. I challenge you, if you're taking Excedrin, I'm not trying to call you people out, but learn from me. I almost died, literally almost died. There's a scroll on the side of an Excedrin bottle that literally will go down to the ground once you pull it out. And that's a small bottle.
And that's not just Excedrin either.
I know, but that's my beef.
No.
F you, Excedrin.
I know.
So anyways, my point is if your livelihood and your happiness and peace and your like mental stability or your feasibility is contingent on something, I think that's what needs to be evaluated.
But that's also where on that side of things that they want you. They want you to be dependent on them.
But also too, let's throw a quick caveat to all this. My life has changed drastically in the last 6 months because of my injury.
Right.
So if you're dealing with something that's beyond what you can and you're on something prescribed to get you better and there's an end point, then I'm all about it.
Right.
But I don't believe in this. You got to take this or be like this the rest of your life, because the flip side to this whole entire thing physically is, as trippy as it sounds, the metaphysical, the mental stability. When I told you I met that lady the other day in the sauna, and she said to me that like I have stage 4 cancer, and you would think she was telling me that she was going for a walk tomorrow and happy about it. Not that she was happy about that, but the enlightenment that she's not going to let that rob her peace.
Right.
So now I have this whole paradigm shift of thought when if you're dealing with something chronic, or even if it's been an injury, even fit mentally, stay as positive as you can. And it sounds so cliche.
It does.
It's so tacky.
It does.
Staying positive.
It does.
And
but that also comes to manifesting things. So if you keep saying I'm
broke,
whatever, that's gonna happen eventually.
I always say, I'm sexy and I'm gonna beat the world.
But sometimes you also say bad things, and what do I tell you?
I got my fetal positions too.
Them. I know.
But
you also can't keep verbalizing it, because then that's also when the enemy says, okay, you want to see that?
It's true. It almost like really happens.
It does.
Isn't it trippy though, how crazy this is? How I told you that like my life has this like
cycle.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's not always bad.
Right.
But it's like every 3 to 5 years I have this like swift change.
Right.
But here we are, right? And
here we are.
Where are you at season wise for those that don't know you? Like life wise, are you in a good season?
I mean, yeah.
You have
I mean, I just want to get on an airplane, you know.
Can't say airplane anymore.
I know, but I would love to do that.
Nope, never again.
I know. So that honestly has been my which I told you 11 months ago, probably never going to happen again. And that's, for me, is still hard to accept.
Yeah. But aside from that, you're in good.
Yeah.
Do you have any health problems? You're good, right?
Don't we all? We're not. No one's perfect.
Well, what? You have your leg. That's about it. You're good. Nah, you're good. I'm very proud of you. You work very hard for it too. And none of this has to do about your aesthetics. You know that, right? Like there are those that are listening.
Yeah, but there's also things as getting. So I mean, whatever. So in learning this, which maybe it's meant for me to talk about. So starting to take this class and doing this research.
I'm gonna get more. Is there more coffee in there?
I think so.
I'll go get it.
I've learned and realized that there are certain things that as a kid, for women anyway, you're told, oh, this is normal. For instance, having a painful period, cramping, moodiness, etc. is normal. It's not normal. And I just recently learned this in the past 2 to 3 weeks. And that's another reason too why I decided I thought it was important for me to take this class, because it's not normal. And the doctors say, oh yeah, well, get on this pill, do this, do that. And I'm not going to be dependent on a pill just so I'm not in pain for cramping that, it's 2 or 3, times.
Is that going to piss off a lot of people if they say, is that like, I don't know a girl that doesn't have pain.
And that's why I'm bringing it up. And that's what made me think like, what do you mean it's not normal? Everyone I know, it's normal. It's not. From what I've, that's one of the vital signs of, like, one of the 6 vital signs is of course, you're going to have a little bit of pain. It's not saying painless, but manageable pain. You remember sometimes I'll be sitting there with a heating pad miserable. That's not okay. So that is why there's something deeper that's going on that I don't know that I need to figure out for myself. So in saying that, no, yeah, I'm healthy, I'm good, but I'm not. Because no one is. There's always going to be, even like you said too, some people are so sensitive, go away off your diet for a week, and it could really mess you up. So, I don't know.
I didn't know that. I mean, I think I remember hearing you saying something about if you have really hard, heavy, like painful periods, that it's not good.
But I always, I've been told, oh, you're fine, you're fine. No.
But you also probably been the only person I know that, and once again, I don't know if I got to keep reiterating this because I don't like when people come off condescending to any kind of tone. And if it's coming off this way, then I'm so sorry. I don't think it is, but just as a quick little, but you also don't take any, never have you ever, or did you? I don't remember you ever saying that you took birth control.
Oh, no. I've always, for some reason, I don't know why, but I think part of it is because I never grew up taking any sort of pills, like even ibuprofen. I would have to be in a lot of, so it was never normal for me to take something like medicinal regularly.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think everyone takes birth control pretty much, majority.
But I've also never, besides the pain, there's been no need to.
Yeah.
My cycle's been, all that. So I'm thankful for that. But the other aspect of it is the pain, even the moodiness too. Not supposed to be a thing. Yeah. From what I've been reading, I've just started, so we'll see where it gets me. But has a lot to do with your metabolism again. It all ties together.
You know what you also do really good at is water.
I do.
I envy your water intake.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Why?
It's so annoying.
I
I start peeing everywhere.
But that's another thing too. I've always drank since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I've always drank a lot, not to this caliber, but I will say that, remember those couple of weeks? Here's a perfect example. I'm not perfect and epitome of health. Remember those couple of weeks where I was dealing with like like weird stuff.
Yeah.
You know what it came down to? Is water.
Too much?
No, I wasn't drinking enough because I was doing hot yoga and I wasn't keeping track of how much I was intaking.
I told you.
I know.
I didn't tell you that. I just said you were going to be okay.
Right.
You basically said goodbye to me.
I did.
It's over.
I did.
What's this one? Is it this way?
Yeah.
Sector 2 or whatever.
District 9. I saw funny but not funny. I don't know if you
careful.
saw. I know.
Jeez,
I know, but I'm going to do
get
it.
Me banned.
I know, but it's funny. I don't know if you saw it, probably not, but on Instagram a couple months ago, Target was having these like really like new style of dresses, and it was supposed to be it looked like Handmaid's Tale. Have you heard of that? It's like some dystopian show on Netflix. I've never watched it, like end of the world kind of stuff. And just recently last night I saw outfits at Target that's like District 9. You know those like overall things?
See?
I know.
We're not ready.
I know.
We would eat those berries.
No, because I've been thinking about the dogs.
You wouldn't. You would make them eat the berries. We talked about this.
I don't think
Here's a good question.
I don't think I could do that.
If you're having a random day and you just need something to not be important to think about, you're in the Hunger Games. Do you eat the berries or do you fight? But I mean, really, do you fight? Like, do you really do you kill your companion?
I know. I couldn't.
I couldn't. I would fight. The weird thing is, though, is like, I don't know if I would want to go through the torment of like protecting, lose an arm or something through one bad war. Someone's going to get some kind of spike at me or something, and I'm going to come back and you have to fix me.
Right.
And we'll be living in this fear. And then maybe.
And that's what's going to kill us is the fear.
True. Mm-hmm. But maybe I make it out battles, but someone's got a bigger axe.
I know.
I'm going to run out of bullets.
I know.
And then boom, And then it's even worse because like imagine actually being killed or something. That would be horrible like that. So I think we would just like, let's just get it. The problem is that we eat the berries and they call it off.
That's true.
But you know
too.
what? At that point, I'd be like,
happy.
we're out.
Yeah.
So what would we do? We'd feed the bear.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
What if like it didn't work on one of them or something?
Right. Then I can't think of it.
It's horrible. You know what's really weird? I've never Googled anything like this, but I bet you there's companies out there making like, I guess maybe no, you couldn't do that. Like a kill yourself package.
No.
That sounds horrible. I don't mean to like, I'm not talking about suicide. I'm talking about like in the midst of a dismay, like if you were a secret spy.
Oh.
That's what I mean. My apologies. So those that are listening, like in the bite, they're like, Chenzo promotes killing himself. No, I'm talking about like you're doing some espionage
like
work.
The pill things. Yeah. I mean,
gotta go.
But you probably can't,
Can't just get that on Amazon.
No.
I'm sure you could make some kind of concoction.
Oh yeah. They have like plants and stuff.
Like instead of a doomsday bunker,
I think Murdoch.
Get a doomsday pill.
Yeah.
Like you ain't getting me.
No.
But I'd fight for you. I'd try.
I'd try, but I wouldn't want to kill anyone.
I know. I mean, I would probably be able to kill somebody if life was in that midst of threatened.
Yeah, if someone was trying to kill me,
fight or flight. Yeah, you would turn into a monster bear.
Or if someone's trying to kill. I know.
I wonder if he's in camera.
Let's see.
Because Shannon had said something. No, he is, but he is in my head. Oh no, he's behind you. There he is.
Oh, his little face.
Babe, you look like a Super S model.
Thanks.
I'm glad you changed.
Look at my gray hair.
You really can't see it. So we're covering a lot of good ground. Killing people, toothpaste, oyster pills, soda stream, hate it.
Why?
So our beef here in this house, we have the best fights.
There's no beef in this house.
There's beef.
What?
So I'm not allowed to drink seltzers.
You can drink seltzers, just not from a can.
I don't know anybody else who's ever drank more seltzer than me, as far as like at home. Because remember, I used to drink all those. So I probably would drink 5-ish seltzers a day.
Oh yeah,
easy.
If not more, because sometimes you do half. It's too cold. It's not.
Yeah, I like it nice and cold.
Yeah.
So I go through this. I've had this like seltzer issue.
But that's also when you stop drinking Diet Coke.
I know, it's so embarrassing.
That's how I got you over was the seltzers.
And once again, I'm not hating on anybody else that's out there drinking Cokes and stuff. It was killing me.
Right.
It was
that caused your headaches
yeah,
too.
100% caffeine.
Dehydrates you.
But anyways, so Camille doesn't want me drinking seltzer out of the cans and out of this and out of that. Like I can't seem to find a seltzer remedy. And I believe you. I don't really know how they make all those things, like the LaCroix. What's really in there?
And how is it staying so bubbly?
How does it even have a flavor without having anything? Well,
yeah,
in there?
That's a whole.
Is this like a magical space flavor made from an alien? I don't know. So, anyways,
what's wrong with the Soda Stream?
The thing is weak.
Well, maybe the thing needs to be changed. The CO2 tank
doesn't matter. I mean, maybe one time you've for me. So, anyways,
sometimes you're like, this is really good.
True. Once.
No.
Remember that one day I was like,
more than once.
So Camille got this Soda Stream, which you get all your doodads and toys all the time.
That's not even for me.
I know.
I don't even use it except for my magnesium.
Oh, that's another thing. That is just rancid. I know. We take magnesium now at night.
Magnesium
but that's another
bicarbonate.
Thing. Don't take the pill form from her perspective.
Yeah.
And
well, there's like so many different magnesiums out there, and the one that's the most beneficial and bioavailable to you from research I've done is magnesium bicarbonate. And I'll be the first to say that it took me probably a good 6 to 8 months to take the plunge and even get it, because it is pricey. But then too, when I was kind of dealing with some like heart palpitations and things like that, and I did a couple like holistic kind of tests, and they were saying that I was low on magnesium. And I didn't tell them that I was even having these issues. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is all a sign to get, try this magnesium finally. But I do use it because it's magnesium bicarbonate. So you do have to put it in with seltzer water.
Boom.
And I don't want to be taking bad seltzer water.
I figured this out too the other day when we were taking it, because we do it at night. Mm-hmm. It has an aroma to it. A hint.
Like fishy-ish,
yeah.
But I have noticed that if I make it fresh, it's better.
Well,
when it sits in the fridge, because maybe I just need to figure out the proper proportion to make 2 servings. Because people are making a serving. Remember I was making it in this, but then it
Yeah,
would
and then
last
you would
30
use it for the
days.
thing.
What's
We're
wrong?
probably gonna. I don't know. Didn't you say we had an hour on Insta? We had
Let's
an
see.
hour, so we might get. Is it really actually only do an hour and then just cuts
I
you
mean,
off?
my crystal lives, that's what they say. No, you're still live. Oh, wait, maybe it started over. Oh, no, it's still
Okay.
still
I'm not even
going.
in the thing. But that's interesting because it had that little bit of a
No,
poopy
people
smell.
are watching it.
Wow, that's cool. So
Yeah.
you know what it is? It's you.
Me.
I'm using your beauty to gain clout.
I think
What's bussin mean? Why do I see everyone posting bussin?
bussin?
Bussin. We are weird. We're old.
I don't know. Where do you
I
see
see it
it?
on TikTok a lot.
I'm not on
Bussin.
TikTok
Oh, you got
anymore.
off?
Yeah.
Bussin.
I like reels. Why am I going to use TikTok?
We're not checking comments in the live, but if you know what bussin means, which is probably,
Let's see.
you want to do a live check.
I mean, I don't know if I
Bussin
do.
probably means like dripping, drip, cool, flossing, bling, bussin. Maybe it's not.
To be either high or just completely opposite of being lame.
So cool.
What you
I'm
would
bussin'.
say if something was really good.
This coffee's bussin'.
It's a song too.
Oh, that's what it always originates that way. Who sang it? Who came up with it?
Tay Money.
That's my favorite. Tay Money? Is it TAI?
TAY.
Tay Money.
Girl.
We're not pick. Oh, it's a girl.
I mean, in this photo.
It's so funny because the music culture has changed. It's so you're like hot for 10 minutes and it's moving on. TikTok's the easiest way to identify how old I am.
You know what's funny? I remember Emily was here the other day and she was saying how TikTok taught her that like side parts and jeans. Literally the next day I saw someone saying TikTok taught me that same thing.
Yep.
So, is it still, because I haven't been on TikTok in a while, is it still like geared towards younger generation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a melting pot now where it's so funny, just like anything else. So like you go to the Clubhouse and you'll always have those groups.
Did you know Elon was on Clubhouse recently?
No.
You missed it.
I'm mad at him.
Me too.
Not in a bad way. I just want to be his friend.
You know he has 7 kids?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm one of them.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. No, but my point is every time there's like a new app or a new social portal, then all of a sudden you get the people that are like, like how to get rich quick people on that portal.
Oh.
There's that. You have like, it seems to be like the adult men on TikTok are telling you how to get rich because they're so rich.
Right.
And I know this isn't everybody, people, so don't give me any, what.
Right.
But you got that. Then you have the adult women that are just being sexy.
Like
dancing, doing what the younger girls are doing, but they're always attractive women, the older women, but they're still sexy, but they're not doing anything of importance. They're like, look at my dancing and my dog. Like there's a girl on there that I love. She's beautiful, but has a lot of pets, like at a farm.
Oh yeah. You've shown me her.
Love her.
Yeah.
She lost it all, by the way.
What do you mean?
It's interesting to watch people's lives transpire that she got a divorce and had lost all of her. Yep.
That's sad. So
it's weird when I think it's actually, I mean, I'm doing it like basically let people in behind the scenes.
Right.
She's like letting people know, like, so she's actually promoting mental health awareness a lot because she's so messed up.
Dealing with that.
But so you have that. And then I feel like you have the dudes, the young dude kids are just having a blast. Like, if I was dancing
or what?
No, just doing awesome stuff. Like I feel like the most
what? Like what's awesome stuff?
Like imagine Matthew and I having TikTok when we were 16, like coming up with really cool cinematography effects, or like
those kids I'm following on Reels with those cool dances.
Yeah, stuff like that. Exactly. Right. Where like it doesn't warrant seeing an areola,
right?
But it also requires some type of ingenuity, or
and you want to watch it.
Boom.
Right.
And they're attractive to some degree too. But I also noticed what I think to be most amazing about TikTok or any social platform. For instance, the girl that was front page Reddit the other day that is now doing appliance repair reviews, and she's blind. and she
Wow.
helps the blind. The video is literally geared towards people that are blind
Mhm.
that are trying to find out what are good appliances or not for
Wow.
that type of issue. Appliances that are doing better at making it more accessible.
Right.
Maybe the buttons are more, I don't know what the word legible would be, but your fingers, but like easier.
Right.
So my point is this though, what I really love about the TikTok or any, like I said, more on, but you remember the girl I also showed you that has, I think, cerebral palsy? Did I
Mhm.
say that right?
Mhm.
And she does
Mhm.
her dances and stuff and she
Mhm.
keeps it fun, but like she's also sharing with you like, look at me still living
Right.
and I'm not perfect,
Right.
but those I'm so magnetically attracted. And
Right.
of course, tens of thousands of people are. Those channels do really, really
Right.
well. When there's like a sister that has a brother who
Right.
has a deficiency or something.
Right.
And I hate even using those words. To me, they're almost like miracles
Right.
because like what that person's going
Right.
through makes my life, So when they use them, not
No,
it's
yeah.
family, like almost showing like there's a one I follow and his little bedtime routine. He's a grown man, but
Aw.
I think he had brain damage. So she always does a quick TikTok when he's getting ready for bed. It's the
Aw.
most adorable
That's
thing.
cute.
But it's a very unique, I think it's something to you where it's like unprogramming yourself
To
digitally
watch it.
because you're so used to when you log on to something digitally, people need to be beautiful.
Right.
You feel like you need to be beautiful.
Right.
Like even today, remember I was going to go live with no shirt and
Right.
I didn't even wash my hair
Right.
or brush my hair, but you wanted to get pretty. And I understand that. I'm not knocking like everyone should just be naked and not care. Like I get that part. But there's such this beautiful attractiveness when someone shares with them, and they're not perfect and they may be missing something or
Right.
they have a something about them and it's just this attractiveness I have. It's amazing.
But that also too, I think, kind of like what you were saying though, is you just wanted to go and like go live, and I'm sitting here in my hoodie, and like I don't feel like
Right.
it has to come from within too. And if I don't feel good, what I'm going to talk. So, but those people that are showing things like that, they're just happy and thankful. So that's why people I feel like are drawn to them too.
So there's that segment. And then of course, no disrespect to you beautiful women, you make social media fantastic, but the girls that are just absolutely whoring themselves, like just ass and titties.
I know.
And there's going to always be that, like,
I know.
And you know me, I have no qualm admitting it. 90% of my Instagram and social media on the entertainment platforms are beautiful people, majority women. That's what and not because my motive is wrong. And people have a hard time, I think, digesting this. Sometimes like, what? How does Camille deal with that? I'm like, I don't call these people. I don't message these people. But of course, if I'm scrolling through, and of course, you know me too. I'm not into like, when dudes send each other the like, look at this naked broad. And I don't even know who she is. I don't understand that. I don't need to see some random like that I'm not into. So I don't follow girls, pretty women, like your channel. Like you would, if I didn't know you, I would literally follow your like, wow, she's gorgeous. And it doesn't require you being nude. Right. But that's what I find TikTok kind of evolving or in this moment, but it's ever changing, And I think one of the most important things on a quick tangent of like why maybe you should be using TikTok if you're in the marketing environment. Is that you? Who is it?
I don't know. Probably car warranty.
Those things are blowing up lately. Is TikTok will allow you to know what's really actually trending.
It does now?
Yeah. Well, no. By swiping aimlessly after.
Well, Reels does that too.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about in a younger demographic.
Oh.
Like, for instance, did it help Emily change her life by knowing that girls don't part their hair in the middle, they do it on the side now, and that tight jeans are out? Did that really give her success in selling a house? Probably not. But does she now know that that's what's going to maybe help her utilize that? And if she were to get clothing for a younger sibling, or if she were to buy a gift basket for a younger generation,
or try to like be approachable to someone that age.
So, and once again, it's how you use it. If you're watching it, which we're all guilty of too, if you're just watching any social medium and you're like feeling depressed because your boobs aren't as big as the other girl, then you're just a knucklehead. Like, get over that. I have that issue too. I'm not as cool looking as that guy, or that guy has a better boat. Who cares about that stuff? You got to get over that. But it's interesting. I use it for pure education and entertainment. But that's but you got off of it because of security purposes.
Yeah.
But I'm on it, so you're.
I mean, I don't know
coming for me.
if that's even a thing, but
They're
I was also like, not the reason I'm not a huge fan of TikTok is the reason I use social media is to connect with people, and I
Right.
wasn't connecting with anyone on TikTok. And why am I going to spend 2 hours making a TikTok that, I'm gonna have 15,000 likes,
Yeah.
but I have not one conversation stemmed from someone? Why?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
I think if someone's looking for the viral of being cool, then use TikTok. But you're not. Yeah, as far as engagement,
right?
No one's gonna go, let me get that product. No one actually. It's not really meant for.
But it's not even let me get that product. Like, hey, let's connect and let's chat tomorrow about what hair product you don't get that on TikTok. But with Instagram, with the reel feature, I did a reel yesterday, and like 4 people made it today. Like that to me is fun.
Right. Well, there's like, I think a lot of it has to do with, and obviously all this is hypothesis, we don't really know, but I would say Instagram still carries an educated audience of consumer.
Right.
Consumers, there's a larger consuming power. They have.
Did you see what they've done in the past 4 months?
No.
Is they changed their, like, how Instagram looks and where your buttons click and where it used to go. So you look on your feed, it's now a shop button.
Shop?
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. And that's good. And I don't have a problem with that. I was telling somebody the other day, they were like, I'm deleting my Facebook and I'm deleting this. And I get it. I totally understand it. But then they're also like, so how do I market my business?
Right.
I'm like, listen, person.
Right.
What are you thinking?
It's very hard.
You can't now, but you know what's weird? Ever since we were kids, for us, because we grew up with it.
Right.
Like it was birthed as we were being adolescents. I feel like there was a large population of our generation that knew you would be half knucklehead to actually use this for the real purpose. Remember, like when you could remember when we started a Facebook page and it wasn't this was before pages.
Right.
I created a Facebook, and the Facebook person was the business. It was before, and Facebook like hated it, but you could do it, and it was still really tacky because the only way to engage was adding a friend and this and that. But I did it for Pickle and then Baby Pickle. But I went into it knowing that I'm going to use this. It's not going to use me.
Right. But a lot of people don't think like that.
Well, I wish they did, because I hope, because another thing is too, is that, and this is a scary thing, if your business is absolutely contingent on one platform or the other beyond the internet, because you're already I'm already screwed if the internet goes off anyways. I'm selling my coconuts.
I know.
But it's going to turn off or ruin or break. And literally in 2 seconds, Facebook could go to a full subscription-based model overnight. Will they probably in our lifetime? Probably not. Will they? Maybe. Yeah. Look at Netflix, Hulu, all of them. Charging you to utilize their content. Now they will, but my point is, it's just let you use it.
Right.
I
lot of people don't think like that.
Yeah. But if you don't think, if you're taking it to a whole level of like security measures, then get rid of everything.
And your phone.
Even your fridge.
You know what I did? Speaking of security things, remember last week I was dealing with that and I couldn't use that app that I use for my filters, that Lightroom app.
Yeah.
And it was like a whole day thing. Well, come to find out, the reason, did I ever tell you why that happened?
No.
Because I was changing my security settings on my phone so that my phone couldn't automatically delete apps. And it like messed with something else. But my point is that I changed settings on my phone for security purposes. In the midst of doing that, I wasn't allowed or able to use other apps that I kind of rely on and pay for. Isn't that scary?
Yep.
And I didn't have a choice. And now those security measures are off because I'm paying for this service that I need. I guess I don't need it, but I need it.
You want to use it.
Right.
Well, look, I tell you this all the time. And for all those that know me, it doesn't really, unless you're actually doing espionage work.
I know it doesn't matter.
What does it really matter? I don't care. I honestly don't even care if the world sees me naked. I don't care.
Well,
I guess some people do.
Right.
Because they're but I don't, and I guess also we're learning this.
Right.
A lot of people do have a lot to hide.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
And I hope that I once again, not trying to sound condescending, but this adulting thing is pretty interesting.
Right.
And I'm learning, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that have a lot to hide,
Right.
and we're
Right.
accused of having a lot to
Right.
hide, meaning that we have this like alternate reality that we supposedly live in. But I don't really care.
Right.
You don't really care. I'm outside naked all day
Right.
long. If someone's taping me,
Right.
do whatever you want with it. Extort me. I don't
But
care.
it's not even necessarily that I care about that, but I'm taking photos of me
Oh, I know.
and I don't want it,
I think the most interesting that people need to pay attention to, if it was me, is if you plan on doing anything important. Because what I'm doing is I'm just trying to live and then produce content. And if it's appreciated, it is. If it's not, I don't care because my livelihood isn't contingent on it. But here's my point: those that are not paying attention to like cyber war and where
Mhm.
the world's going. So when I was on Clubhouse the other day,
Mhm.
and people are getting all caught up with Neuralink and this and that and this. What people need to pay attention to, if you really want to get your
Did
panties
you
in a
read that
bundle,
article I sent
yeah,
you?
babe, I'm on top of it. I'm gonna get it,
No, you better not.
100%. I don't care. I will be one of the first. You're gonna have to really put me on. Like if they're like, "Oh, you don't have to go under for it."
Yeah,
Like
but then you don't have control of yourself.
I don't really. I mean, I'll have control of myself, but
Do you know what they're doing with that monkey?
I don't want to talk about it.
Why would you want
I
that?
do want to talk about it.
Why would
Am I
you
going to
want
get it
that?
tomorrow? No, because here's what's going to happen, babe. Literally, here's what's
Is it because is it like the same effect of like you want, which I'm not saying like you want this, but like you want the newest iPhone so you're up on technology?
Yeah. And here's what's going to happen is like we're only going to be alive for another 30-ish years, maybe 30, 40. And I don't want unless we can like, and I don't even want to be alive. Even I don't want to be alive past my normal shelf life as a human being. Even if I could put my consciousness in another thing, I don't know
Yeah.
if I want to outlive everything 10 times over, like
Right.
full vampire mode.
Have you seen too that they're working on, have already, I don't know, putting like your consciousness
Yeah.
in like a bot, so
100%.
then like if you die, I can still talk to you. Like
It's trippy, but it's all coming. I think it's coming a lot faster than we think.
well, it's already here because
Yeah,
they're
100%.
talking about it.
So here's what's going to happen. It's a fun little no reason debate of whether you agree with it or not. But here's what's going to happen. Really soon, Neuralink's going to be out, and he'll probably dominate that market until further notice.
Yeah.
And anyone that comes anywhere close, Google, to it, he will probably buy or sabotage it to some degree because he's going to dominate the.
Well, he probably already has it, and he's already mastered it. So he's
100%.
He's the king.
He has to have it.
I mean, I think
if I had to like, he has to. He is on another level of intelligence.
So they put it in pigs, and now it's in a monkey doing video games. Like, how does he?
If people don't know what we're talking about, by the way, this is a complete no reason tangent. But if you don't know what Neuralink is, you beyond worrying about whether women are parting their hair in the middle or not, you need to know what Neuralink is if you care to compete in this thing called life, because it's about
not
to
even
happen.
compete, but just
baby,
be alive.
Here's the thing: it's going to be compete. If you're telling me that there is a new interneter in town, I would already be so sad.
Yeah, but I think it's more than just competing in the internet realm. I think it's just being alive and being a human.
Right, but baby, listen. If the person that is here can outthink you, think about. See, what I don't think a lot of people are realizing is look at it from a simplistic situation. Like you have a job, you're getting paid to do something. I can now do that job faster.
Right.
This isn't about taking over the world.
But I guess that's what I mean. It's just living. It's not even just compete. Like.
And now you open up a whole new issue of think about casinos and counting cards and being able to manipulate the stock market in your brain because it's unbelievable. But most importantly, here, let's talk about the flip side to it. If this Neuralink is what it says it is, and that it can restructure your neurological pathways, and if you were once dealing with mental deficiencies, whether they are
or physical,
it can fix it. From what he says, of course,
so that I think that's a different story, but that's not how I feel like he's branding it.
No, he is.
Well,
most of his.
Why does it matter that this monkey can play video games?
Because Elon is also extremely intelligent, and he also knows that the next generation of folk don't really care about. We care about being able to send signals back to an area of our body that has no more neurological signals. We do, but we're old. You know what 18-year in the grand scheme of things, you know what an 18-year-old cares about? Playing video games with his left toe. Okay. Don't you remember? I can feel like it was yesterday. I was thinking about this. I saw shout out to the Tullies. They were out. They're out snowboarding and stuff, and I
Mhm.
love that. And he shared this really cool photo of his kids on his
Snowboard.
no the rafts or whatever, the tubes, like the tube.
Oh,
And I thought, holy, I would never get in one of those now. I feel like I
yeah.
would break in
I
half,
know.
and it's happening, right? Like I think about it. It feels like last year, 10 minutes ago, I would be like, I'll go down this mountain in a
Right.
tube.
Right.
Now I'm like, oh no, definitely breaking myself
Right.
because we're cognitive and
Right.
we're aware of this self-preservation. We know that we're brittle.
Right.
And I know in the grand scheme of things, we're healthy, we're young,
Right.
and we still have a lot of life to offer. But to an 18-year-old, you're running through a wall.
I know.
And you know that. Not
I
only is
know.
it medically possible
I
because they
know.
won't break, but two, they're just your brain. And I don't know what's one way better than the other. I don't know if I want to lose that. So what if all of this metaphysical that we do talk about, a lot of it happens to deal with, I hate that act as if, because remember I grew up that way. I
Mhm.
don't believe in that.
Mhm.
Don't act as
Mhm.
if. Don't act as if you're rich, if you're not. Just
Right.
talk about it in your privacy in your own
Right.
home. But if it's okay.
Right.
Don't act as if. Don't be something you're not. But be positive,
Right.
even if you're not.
Right.
That I believe
That's
in.
different. Yeah.
Like even if you're miserable, shut up.
Right.
Try, because I'm talking to myself. And you see me at my weakest.
Mhm.
But it helps so much. But I don't know. The Neuralink's coming, baby. I'm gonna get it.
I'm not getting it.
You won't even let me in the house.
Nope.
I'll be talking like C-3PO.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You'd be a cyborg.
Yep. It's really trippy though. If you don't know what it is, no one's gonna know who has it or not.
Yeah, I think you will. I feel like
Mm-mm.
you're gonna be dead in the eye, and that's why I feel like
Really?
Elon has it. Will you see him? He's like,
I know. He's not. No, he's not even.
well, you know what I mean? He has like no like.
You know what it is?
Scary.
He is scary.
I feel like there's like nothing there because he
know.
has it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
If
Like
you
there's
don't,
no soul. There's no soul in him.
I know.
That's what
I
mean.
agree with you.
That's what I mean. So you're gonna be able to know. Like right now, your eyes are like nice and bright and happy, and he comes in and it's gonna be like alien.
I come in and I'm like doing algorithms on you. I'm like, if you step that way much further, you save that much more time. And your oyster pills smell like poop.
Probably can't even
I make my own oyster pills.
Can't even smell it.
Wow. No. Yeah, that's trippy.
That's what I'm.
But it's coming, and that's my point. If you're against all, so on that Clubhouse chat, remember those people that were like advocating, like, natural, which you advocate for. You're gonna. If this isn't gonna be anymore, like I don't use a cell phone. Like your dad and those people. Like that's great, good for you. This is going to be like, oh, you don't have Neuralink?
No.
You don't even belong in my neighborhood because I've literally have already done. It's crazy. What's really trippy though, for those that don't know as well, he also says, now this is all what Elon said. This isn't some, I'm not quoting what some random idiot had said. This is literally 3.5, 4 hours, 2 separate episodes with him talking to Rogan, with most of it being Neuralink. You will be able to communicate without talking. What? And that's where.
So then, if you can communicate without, let's say we both have it.
Mm-hmm.
So, is someone else in here that does have it? Can they hear what we're thinking and saying?
I don't know. That's where we don't. I know. But what about this? I always think to the.
And you can still talk, right?
Yeah, 100%. Well, from what he says.
I mean,
I always think ninja about it. What if we were going to, I keep thinking for some reason casinos, because what people are going to want to use this for beyond cyber warfare and killing people is generating income fast. So imagine
maybe you won't be able to go in a casino if you have Neuralink.
How will they know? That's
probably
the point.
Scan you or something.
You know what? You will be the first to have a Neuralink scanner.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's just start promoting that now. We already got booted.
I know. I should do that.
That would be amazing.
I have a theory, but I can't talk about it on air.
Great.
I know.
I have a theory, and I will talk about it on air. There will be cyborgs really soon. We're already part of it. That's what Joe Rogan's already been telling.
I know.
When people have this like fixation on, like going against it, it's over people. They're saying it and they're like waving their fists in the air and their phones in their hand.
I know.
Like this tech has got to stop. And it's like you're saying it on Instagram.
Right.
You're producing content to the AI to learn you to produce it, and you're mad. Like, stop. People get really upset when they see an airplane advertisement after they've been talking about airplanes. That's what's
Well,
going to happen.
I don't like that
I know
either.
no one likes it, but that's what's going to happen.
Sometimes it's even I'm thinking about it and then I see it.
That's that Neuralink.
I don't like
How do you
it.
know I didn't put it in you?
But
Imagine if you did that. There's a whole nother thing. What about people that get?
well, you have to go into surgery.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. But what if people start getting it at birth?
Oh,
And you
well.
know no different. So you know what ends up happening is there's always a lot of validity behind a movie. There's if it's been
Predictive
thought, it can happen.
programming.
What if they were literally the Matrix to happen? Humans just go straight to war and they're cyborgs and that's what all this is really, the dark side.
AI.
This isn't about like learning how to make vegetables better.
When we were watching Transformers the other day, or like it was briefly, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah. And really what it is warfare.
oh yeah.
You know, with Boston Dynamics and all those things, we look at it, and I would imagine there's a huge population of people that do look at it and don't go, that would be really good for me.
I'm like, stay away.
But there's a lot of people that go, that is a machine for war.
It is.
1,000 of those into a desolate area with a machine gun
Like
turret on it.
Star Wars.
Yeah. And that's where things are going to get trippy. But all of it also ultimately, and this is where people get, I guess, mad at us, but I don't really care what ends up happening 30 years from now. No disrespect to all those people.
There's nothing we can do, unfortunately. That's what
not that we're anarchists or anything,
no.
but we don't have children. And my heart goes out to everyone that has children that has, not because the world's going to end. The world's not going to end. It's just going to get really
bad,
sticky. Don't say bad,
wow.
Just sticky. And I think it's going to require a tremendous amount of navigation. It's going to get really sticky.
You're going to have to get that Neuralink.
I would get the Neuralink. I'm going to do it. And you know what I would want to do? I would get it, and that would almost be bright. I would just, I'm getting ready to, I'm getting older, right? So like if the Neuralink allows me to stay different, but I don't know.
What do you mean stay different? Like,
I don't know. If it allows me, it allows me to continue to have cognitive, thought. I can, it's all about processing data, right? Isn't that what really the brain's doing? It's just processing data. And by consequence of getting older, things are deteriorating. So processing data is what's and then of course the material of your body is deteriorating. That won't fix the material aspect, but the actual, like the psychological, the mental. If you're telling me that I could get, I'm smarter than I've ever been and continue to get smart. You imagine if every single thing we actually read and viewed, we retained. Forget about it.
But then if you have the Neuralink and you're so smart or whatever you want to say, and you're on that level, do you still have compassion? Do you still have that side of things?
I don't know.
Or do you not, because you're a robot?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that there's a lot to be said with your opinion of, you do go like,
I mean, how can you not? You don't have a soul.
I think you would have a soul, but you would just be over.
Would you though? You're dependent on this thing in your head.
Yeah. I just think what's happening with Elon and those that may have it already is that there's just so much data that by the time you got done saying your sentence, it's literally like watching, for instance, it is a lot easier to transfer think about it, the average movie is an hour and a half, right? What's the average length of reading a book? And I know that's arbitrary, but like the average book could be days, with hours and hours invested into it. Think about some of these, think about a class.
Right.
Classes are a semester.
Right.
Imagine having that done in a day.
Yeah.
And what's happening is,
but like, how much knowledge can one person have, and what's the point of having all this knowledge to one person? It's just going to be robots fighting each other at the end, right?
I think what you have to understand though is that this is so tacky to say, but like G.I. Joe, knowledge is power kind of stuff, like I get it. But listen, babe, there's a lot.
I mean, how can one cyborg be more smart than another cyborg if they're both have the same software in their head?
It's very interesting. It's a good question.
So who's better than the other? They're the same.
The crazy thing is that, people say like, if you're an asshole and then you take cocaine, then you're like a worse asshole because you're like, it's amplified.
Right.
What if you're like already have, what's the common denominator when you're a serial killer? You don't have like a empathy or something like that. Like they literally don't care. Imagine those people plugged in
Yeah, well,
What
they'd
does that
just
do to
be
your chemical
killing
balance?
everyone.
I don't know. It's a very interesting. It's going to,
It's too much for me. It's too scary.
but I like it because once again, not to sound like a jerk 17, but I really don't care what the world looks like. And I'm going to keep care of my 6 inches in front of my
Right,
face. Those
right,
that don't know me don't think that I'm out here throwing straws in the
right,
ocean and I'm kicking dogs.
right,
I take care of everyone and everything within a 6 inch
right,
vicinity of me wherever I go.
right.
But I also can't save the whales.
I know.
You know, will I swim with them? 100%. But am I going to lose sleep over the fact that maybe in 100 years there's no whales? You do your job.
Right.
If everyone focused on the 6 inches in front of their face, better place.
Yeah.
It's like this like
But
compound
everyone
effect.
wants to think of someone
I
else as
know.
something else, and
But that's what keeps, I think, us happy in our little home, in our little house, like our little bubble, because the world can be so that it's weight. But
Mhm.
I think ultimately I like it. I'm okay with it.
What? Where it's
Where we
going?
are. Yeah, because it's par
I
for the
mean,
course.
yeah, there's nothing we can do
I'm not
about it.
like upset about it at all. I think there's a lot of people that do feel like this like, the world's spiraling out of control and everything needs to be fixed, and once fixed it will be better, like then I can live. And look, we've learned this from a family dynamic, from a work dynamic, from a spiritual dynamic. It's never going to be
Right.
perfect.
Right.
And the crazy thing is I would almost say to you, if you're dealing with that, which we do often because you're only as good as your last 24,
Mhm.
shout out to Chief. If you are dealing with this, I will do this when this is better.
Right.
I'll be happy when my wife makes me a sandwich.
Right.
And then you retrain her, if that's what you want to call it, or vice versa. Guess what? You and I learned this the hard way. It doesn't even change anyways.
Right.
There's your stupid sandwich on the table,
Right.
and you did it, and you did it maybe with an out of a heart of a clear motive.
Right.
And it's worthless anyways.
Right.
So those people out there that are exercising guilt on people, those are people that are putting